Michael, hanging out with you is like having fireworks all the time, all the exciting celebrations we have with you. So thank you. And in Sydney, Australia right now, they're celebrating. I believe this is almost just shy of live.
There you go.
Awesome.
Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. I appreciate you all. Have a safe Happy New Year celebration.
Happy New Year!
This looks like, wait, is this a Beyond Publishing event that we're watching here?
Actually, it is. I think it's Hey friends, we're so glad you're back. Michael D. Butler here, and I'm so grateful some of our amazing authors from around the country are able to join us for a few minutes here to wrap up 2019. Now, we've grown a lot this last year. We're at 328 titles, and we're at over 100 authors in the Beyond Publishing family. And a lot of these authors are on here today. They've got something specific to share that they're doing in 2020 to grow their business and sell more books. Now, a lot of our authors with Beyond from around the world and around the U.S. have been very successful this year through speaking, doing podcast interviews, as Dee Dee's been doing a lot of book signings at bookstores and in Barnes & Noble. And then a lot of you on the call have international plans of speaking domestically in the U.S. a lot, hosting your own events. And I kind of wanted to just check in with everybody and for everybody to get a chance to say hello and meet you. Bella, you've been an author before. You wrote a couple of faith-based books, Bella Cruz in San Antonio here. Your next book, Accountability Performance, you've got a whole strategy around speaking, coaching, and writing multiple titles. Show us your book and tell us what your strategy is.
Okay, well, I am writing Accountability Performance, a coaching tool for today's leaders. I'm an enterprise problem-solving executive coach, and I've worked with many companies and many teams and many leaders for over the last 20 years. So this is going to be a great coaching tool for any leader who has any or wants to build a culture of collaboration and high trust with their employees, and that's a lot of departments, a lot of companies. And then I'm going to have a series of books as well. My 2 books that will come with this one will be one on communication and one on team building, because those 3 topics, accountability, communication, and team building, can really build a team to take them to greater levels of productivity.
Well, you're doing a lot of speaking too, and I kudos on that. Your Amazon bestseller, the pre-launch of the ebook. What are some of the countries you're speaking in? I know you're speaking in Los Angeles, New York. Where are you speaking in 2020 that's so significant?
I'm going to be speaking in Egypt. I'm also going to New York. I'm going to South Africa. And I have some other events scheduled as well. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be putting together an advertisement with my book tours that are coming up.
That's really smart. And I know you're looking at an event in March in London, UK with me that we may be speaking at together, and some of our authors may be speaking at. And kudos to Dorian. He's in the office now. He's got the banner, the backdrop there, strategic planning for Black folk. I think I want to switch to him now, because we've watched him in the car and we watched him do his thing. You know, some entrepreneurs get slowed down, but not this author. And I want to say, strategybrother.com. Tell us, what's this about? People are intrigued by this brand, the way you've branded this, Dorian. We may have, there he is.
Yeah. Well, first of all, hey, good to see everybody. And I think the biggest thing was I wanted to make sure that obviously, you know, while writing the book, I was inspired to make sure that I was strategic. Ironically, if you're writing a book about strategic planning, and one of the real pushes was I wanted to make sure that we framed that other resources and other services around the book. I wanted to make sure that the book had legs and that it would go on long after I was done writing. And so it was important for me to make sure that I was embodying and living out those values of strategic planning. And the birth of Strategy Brother was the result of that. because I felt like as I was writing and I found that people were reviewing the book, that was some real helping that I felt like I could do to help people get ahead. So Strategy Brother at www.strategybrother.com was the result of that. And Strategy Brother is now what I'm known as, and it's been fun. I just got off of a podcast with Joseph Warren, the first 100K podcast, talking about that literally about an hour ago, and that'll be airing on Friday.
No, Joseph's awesome. And, you gave the keynote in Tampa. Everybody was on the edge of their seats, and all the white folk were saying, what's in it for me? And I love it how you're helping African-Americans take the leap like 3 decades ahead with financial strategy and wisdom and prudence. And Dr. Dorian Williams, thank you so much. Now, what is your strategy going into 2020? Because you're actually launching the book on Martin Luther King Day. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. 9 January, of course, is the ebook release, and 20 January, MLK Day, the hard copy will be coming out. So we're going to do a book release down at the Pearl in San Antonio, Texas, where we'll be doing a book signing. We're also going to be creating merchandising, some T-shirts. We're working on that right now, and also offering bookmarkers and some things like that for the first 100 people that come out. And from that point, what I'm doing is really using the book itself and the book content to create strategic planning seminars. So right now we're working on getting actually funding. We have a funder that's is getting behind us to say, hey, we feel like this is important work for inner city and underserved people, all colors, all shapes, all sizes. And so we're going to be doing that here soon and offering a quarterly seminar. And I'll actually be working with Bella Cruz. We're going to join forces together and put this accountability and leadership performance and strategic planning together. So we're excited about 2020.
You're going to take it to a whole nother level. Yeah. Exciting. I tell you, San Antonio, we're going to make Daniel Gomez wait. As much as I want to throw it to him, I see he's really eager. Dee Dee, I've been so excited to get over to you here. Dee Dee, The Perfect Christmas has been just blowing up this month. The book that started it all, 2 Degrees, 1 Heart. Tell us about your journey, because you just thought about becoming an author like last month, right? Don't freeze up on me, Dee Dee. She's so touched and moved. No, I tell you, she's dreamed of writing for so many years, and we don't want you to freeze up on us, because you telling your story. Yeah,
There we go.
I want you to tell your story. You're back. I think there was so much energy coming through the camera. What's your story, Dee Dee? Everybody's dying to hear from you.
You know, at the age of 36, when I had my son, you put things on the back burner and you put dreams and goals and different things, because there are other priorities that take place. And then after he turned, I think about 18 or 19, I kept thinking about it. And then last year, I contacted Christine Driesbach, and I asked her who her publisher was, and she told me about Beyond Publishing. And I immediately contacted you, and then I started picking the book back up again, and I wrote the book, 2 Degrees, 1 Heart, based on 2 nursing students, not realizing that at the age of 34, that my son would eventually be in nursing school. So I was able to kind of pull that into play. And then what happened with the characters' names are actually one of my best friends who's coming on the cruise with us, Eileen Hornbach, her daughter. I took the names Logan and Gracie, which is her daughter's name, and those are the 2 characters of the book. God has a weird sense of humor. I think half the time he shakes his head at us and he wants to put us in timeout. So I just sort of kind of and then, you know, coming to you, I was like, okay, what are we going to do? And I bugged the living snooty out of you. Oh my gosh, I have the patience of Job. And so I kept coming at you. And then finally my book was published. And that was a dream for me at the age of 6 to have a romance book. And I thought, what happens if I continue it? So I have 5 books in the series. And The Perfect Christmas has done really well. The 2 Degrees Hotter will debut February 1. And
Woo!
Today's Services will debut at Derby. And then All His Love will debut in the summertime. So there you go. That's me in a nutshell. Just a little country girl living big, dreaming big, and wanting to make sure that her son makes as much money as he can being the cover model. He's my romance model on the books. He's the next Fabio.
There you go. Well, you have a whole strategy, and when you first reached out to me, you said you wanted to do 10 books, right?
Yes.
Then
I
we
have
talked.
now, don't you remember? I have emailed you so much. I've probably driven you absolutely nuts. By the way, you don't have hair. Because it's all falling out because I drive
Well,
you.
you and Dan Snell, I would say you're a close second with Dan Snell there. I know he'll appreciate that. I love you guys. I love you guys. You're awesome. Well, I just love helping people get their story out to the world. And you know what, guys? If you ever told me that I would get to do what I do, and every day when I wake up and meet new people, awesome like yourselves that are changing lives, changing the world, and making a difference. And how many book signings have you done this last year, Dee Dee?
From February to the end of November, I did 22. Did them at Noble, and then I did them at a beautiful little winery. That's where I'm from Rooster Run, Kentucky. Bardstown, bourbon capital of the world. So, you know, drinking is like way done out here.
Do people buy more when they drink?
Yes, they do. And unfortunately, that's how I got my name. I don't drink. I'm your Dee Dee. I'm the designated driver. Y'all keep that in mind when we're tooling around.
When we come to Louisville, Kentucky for the Derby, we're so glad to know that you're the designated driver and your hubby is the light and sound guy. It's a win-win-win. And Bella's got her hat and she's ready.
I am ready.
We're ready. We want to make the Derby a part of the ongoing. So Bella's coming to South Africa to speak, and then Daniel Gomez is actually going up to Toronto to speak. And I don't want to steal all his thunder, but he can tell you who he's going to be on stage with, who he's getting a picture with. So Daniel Gomez from San Antonio, Texas, You Were Born to Fly. Have you got that? Hold it up. That book put him on the map. He's speaking everywhere.
Right here.
Amazing story here. And then he's got a brand new book coming out soon. So Daniel, take it away, brother. It's been so much fun traveling the country with you. And looks like we're going to be traveling the world too.
Well, you know, like I want to first off and say Happy New Year, everybody. And the best part about just being part of Beyond Publishing is just the family that we built. You know, I've talked to Dorian after events, Bella and Dan and everybody. We just bond with everybody. I talked to Carl earlier this morning and just everybody. I mean, it's amazing the family, the unity that comes together. So it's not just about being an author and writing a book, but it's just the friendships, and you go deeper with that, especially when you travel with people. You kind of, you know, you get intimate in a good way because you learn what's really inside their heart. And I think that's what I love about Beyond Publishing is everybody's genuine. So it's awesome. So, and actually I'll be buying my ticket here next week to Toronto. I'll be speaking on stage with Grant Cardone, and me and Grant Cardone, most people don't realize that before Grant Cardone became a real estate mogul, a billionaire through that industry, it's that he was in the car business. He actually sold cars for a living. And he first made his first million sales training in dealerships. And that's kind of what I do, a big part of my business. So we'll be up there taking pictures together, and my new book, Sticker Shock. Actually, I'm about halfway through. I finished chapter 6 today. So that'll be out of here. Should be up and running the ebook by February. So it's going to be good. I'm excited. Then we have our event coming up March 6th here in San Antonio at the Norris Conference Center. We got powerful speakers coming in from all over the country. We got Sean Douglas coming in from North Carolina, #1 resilient speaker for the United States Air Force. And then we have Tony Wally from up the highway here in Houston, Texas, multi-millionaire with his side hustle business. So it's gonna be a great event. And of course we got the great Michael D. Butler all the way up there from Dallas, Texas. So it's gonna be awesome.
I'll be featuring a lot of your stories there.
But it's great. I mean, it's just amazing just when you step out in faith and you put your trust in God, the doors he opens for you, and you just can't be scared. You know, we're gonna fail, but one thing that I learned is win from your mistakes and learn from your mistakes. And I think that's what's helped me get to where I'm at, because we're all gonna make mistakes. The thing is, are you gonna learn from the mistakes that you make and grow from those opportunities that God what's before you.
Big shout out to Daniel. He had Bella on his stage at that first event that he hosted a few months ago in San Antonio, and Finding Your Inner Beauty, women that had recovered from won the battle against breast cancer, honoring his wife, the Maudie Strong Foundation. And so Bella was speaking, and then Dorian was actually there hosting an event himself. That's how we met Dorian and Carl.
Yeah.
And this big shout out to Dee Dee too. A lot of you met Katie Chandler in Tampa at our author event in Tampa. If it wasn't for Dee Dee, we wouldn't have Katie Chandler and Lovable with her.
She's cute. She's so sweet.
Oh yeah, her and Tyler, Tyler, that we had a great time with those guys. They're awesome. And well, kind of saving all of it's good here. But what would we say about Mr. Winsome here? We love Mr. Winsome. He's a 5-time elected official. His new book, I'll Steal His Thunder, The Winsome Politician. I love it when anybody is so serious about their speaking and writing business that they convert their studio or their living room into a studio. I tell you, this guy right here, Dan, has not only been one of our great authors this year, but he's become a great friend. And the reason I wanted to have him on this year-end call along with all of you, because each of you are doing something very specific and very unique. They say the riches are in the niches. And you know what? Sticker shock. What's the subtitle, Daniel?
The day you discover you're worth millions.
The day you discover you're millions.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize it, but when you niche, you could have just done a book on sales training 101 and done pretty good, but you went niche with car dealerships because you know that space and you're so good in that space. Dorian went so niche into this African-American space of financial prosperity and wisdom and wealth for generations. I love it. Dan, you got a unique message and a unique word. And I want you to chime in here because you were so gracious in Tampa. We had a great event down there. You kind of helped me host that and pull that off. So I appreciated your winsomeness and your wisdom this year, Dan. So what is up with Dan Snell 2020 strategy?
Excited about 2020. Thanks, Michael. And I want to thank you. I'm sure everybody here on this Zoom call wants to thank you because you have brought together all these winsome people. There's a lot of W's on the wall behind me here. And if I point at each one of the people on the screen, they're all big W's for themselves and their lives, for other people's, and for me getting to meet everybody this year. And so 2020 looks to be a really good year. Just announced that one of the people that kind of encouraged me to write the book was a guy we all know, the late Zig Ziglar. How you doing? Zig Ziglar says you got some good stuff in there. And his son, Tom, carried on, and the latest release of the book, The Winsome Way, just came out. I don't know if you can see it, but it says forward by Tom Ziglar, and you'll be seeing that out on social media. Tom has over 1 million+ followers at various levels. And so when people Google for Tom Ziglar and see connections to him, obviously that's a blessing. And his whole family's been a blessing to me, his sisters, Julie and Cindy, and of course, Zig and the redhead. What does that have to do with 2020? That's one of the things that I really learned. And obviously being on this call is linking together. You know, the Tipping Point book, of kind of a famous book, talks about being a connector. And Michael, you're a huge, huge connector. Everybody on this Zoom call. And I've looked at what I'm going to do in 2020. I say with a smile, I would never, ever want to be associated with the word politician because I was a public servant. The problem with government today is that there's not enough public servants and there's too many politicians. So the actual title of that book, I'm going to share it here so you could all see, is The Winsome Candidate, Michael. So there you go. The winsome way to walk, win, and serve through public service. There's a little sneak preview there. So some of the other things I'm going to do besides focusing on that is I'm putting together some workshops in 2020. I've already got one lined up to do that for elected officials, because sometimes we all get coaching from you, Michael. You know, Daniel's a great coach. Bella's, everybody here is coaching people, right? I mean, what Dorian's doing with people is amazing. But elected officials, they run, they get elected, they have then no clue. It's like you ever saw the movie many years ago with Robert Redford, he gets elected to be a senator, and he goes, now what do we do? And that's so true. So I'm going to try to coach them into how to deal with some of the pressure and decision making. Other than that, working with the city of Belton, Missouri, as you know, you've been there, Michael, who was born and who is laid to rest in Belton, Missouri, in his grave?
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie. Many of you don't know that, but Dale Carnegie, born here in Kansas City and is about buried 20 minutes from me. So we're working on a June event where we're going to give out some Dale Carnegie awards. We've got to get some permissions with the training folks, but I think they're going to join us in being a part of this. So well, I guess what I was trying to say was linking, whether it's from the Ziegler family, blessed to know, or other people, the more we can link together, because if Dan or anyone by themselves goes out and tries to do something, it's not going to be as successful as if we all do it, together. We're a winsome community of people. So.
Let me ask you a question, Dan, because I get a lot of authors this time of year start thinking about February royalty payouts, and they start asking and wondering, how big is their check going to be? And so my question is always, how much have you been posting on social media? So give me an example of a good amount for the author to post on social media versus spamming versus never posting, because I think you've got a pretty good conversational tone going with people. You're winsome about the way you post. What's a good strategy? And I want to check in with a couple of the others here on this. What would you say? I mean, because some people are always just selling. What's a good way to hook people? Because you got some really good traction with your sales this last fall, and I know it's through your social media. And not
what I discovered, because we all have that ability on Amazon Author Central, they allow you to track, the chart, and I could pull it up here, but it'd take too long to do it. But I noticed that whenever I would do social media posts, I would go, there's like 8 million authors. We're all one of 8 million authors, and I might be down at 3 million, ranked 3 million out of 8 million. But all of a sudden, if I post, boom, I've actually gone up to in the top 200,000 authors, and I can track how, when I post a few days later, sales on Amazon go up. So I would encourage everybody. I do it about every 10 to 14 days, no more than 3 a month. Excuse me, and post on various social media with just simple video, or find some catch or some niche, or I take a quote out of the book or a chapter or a word out of the book and just kind of tickle people with that. I have a tickle in my throat, so this probably means it's time to stop talking, but I've found that it works. Social media posts, really picture of the book. A lot of people use successfully. They have their friends who've bought a book, hold up the picture of the book and say something nice about the book. That works. Does that answer your question, Michael?
Well, that's exactly what I'm looking for, because I think some people say, I'm on Amazon now what? They publish the book and then they never speak or do any podcast interviews. So kudos to you, Dorian, just getting off the podcast interview there. I know, Daniel, you've done a lot of speaking. Bella, you're doing a lot of podcasts. And then you're doing a lot, Dee, of brick and mortar stuff, of just pounding the payment, going to the bookstores. How are you actually getting the bookstores to sign you? Are you just picking up the phone and calling them, or actually knocking on the door?
Actually, when I made the first Barnes & Noble book signing, I did really well at that book signing, and I sold more than what they anticipated. So they had to order more. And then from there, they were so kind to me, and I was in return kind to them. It goes a long way. If you're kind to me, I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'll do whatever I can do to help you as well. Because when we help each other, or we help one another, in return, the blessing comes back. So after I did that very first Barnes & Noble, they gave connections of Barnes & Nobles that were close to me, gave me their email addresses, gave me the contacts, gave me the CSR or CSM. It's an initial for customer service rep, CSR, at Barnes & Noble. And so I started making phone calls. The furthest I've gone is Las Vegas, and that was fantastic out there. That was Sin City. I was like, holy smokes, it sold like
That is just exciting. Well, that is just exciting. I think 2 Degrees Hotter will do well there as well. Every one of you, I just appreciate so much. You're dear friends of mine, And it's looking forward into 2020 as we go into all these countries and all these other speaking events. Los Angeles, March 20th. I know Daniel will be in Toronto at that great event representing us, selling books and meeting new authors on stage there. What would you say to an author that's on the fence? And then Dee Dee, I think a lot of folks, since they didn't know you and since you were in fiction, haven't friended you yet on Facebook. How often are you posting on Facebook about your books? Because I think you do a great job at that too.
Well, now after I found out on the social media, I'm now on per help, per your guidance, per all the instructions and links. I'm now on 15 different sites. So it's easy, like you said, just change a couple of words when you do one posting, and then I post on all the different sites or whatever with just changing a little bit of the wording, but still able to use the picture, still able to tell the story. And I constantly post on all 15 sites at least once a day. I've learned the time that people are on Facebook is 12 to 2 when they're doing lunch, or 7 to 9. The kids have taken the bath and already had their homework done. So I only post during specific hours that I'm likely to look at the post. Does that make sense?
I love your work ethic. I love your work ethic. And we want to wrap this up, but I want to throw the final question to Daniel Gomez. Daniel, you've been very good about tying coaching to the back end of your speaking and your book writing, because a lot of new authors, they don't realize, they'll get in our catalog and they'll go to some of our events and say, hey, why can't I retire or quit my day job yet? But they haven't yet done what you and Bella are doing. Is a lot of you have figured out how to attach coaching and services to the back end. How do you get in that door? I know sometimes you go speak to 10 people, maybe make, thousands of dollars. How do you do that?
I think when you write your book, you want to kind of have in mind. I was coaching a client actually. We were going over just for their 2020, and something that I said, she's writing a book, and she had already signed a contract with another publisher, but I said, okay, well, did your publisher tell you to kind of format your book to turn it into a program? And she had no idea what I was talking about. And I said, well, the main thing is whenever you write a book, you want to write a book with 12 chapters, because you want to have a 12-week program come out of your book. And then as you write your book, you kind of have ideas of, okay, well, this is going to be a chapter. What questions can I ask after this chapter that I can use in a program? So going into that, writing your book in that format, and then really just kind of having your program to mirror your book, it's kind of what you speak about. People can tell when you're genuine, and when they see that, it's like you have a coaching program that goes with it right away, and it just kind of complements one another. And I think when you just speak from your heart, God takes care of the rest. Because if you really they see that, in other words, people can tell when you're fluffing it and when you're lying. Yeah. People can tell that. And that's really helped me if you would have told me that I was going to be able to succeed in just doing what I'm doing within the second year full time as a professional speaker, and then learning from some of the great people that offer their services from stage, like Bill Walsh and Dr. Sonia. I've been watching Dr. Sonia's video, and man, it's powerful, but it's all psychology. It's all NLP. And when you take time to invest in yourself as a speaker and study the film, it's kind of like playing football, right? Some teams won Sunday, some didn't, because some people studied the film more than other teams did. Well, you got to study how you speak, and you always got to improve. And when you offer your services, you don't want to offer like you're selling it. You want to offer like, hey, this will help you solve the problem that you have right now, whether it's in your personal life or your business. And it kind of works that way.
John Leslie Brown, thank you, Daniel. That is awesome, and you're a master at that. John Leslie Brown is Les Brown's son, and he goes by Les Brown Jr. now. But recently, he was speaking to 30 people, and he had 30 books with him. And I said, "How'd you do?" And I said, "Did you sell 30 books?" He said, "Didn't sell any books." He said, "But I made $30,000." And I said, "I'm all ears. How'd you do that?" He said, "I sold 30 people coaching at $1,000 each, and they all got a free book." So there's more than one way, as my dad used to say, skin a cat. And I wondered, what sick human being would skin a cat? But I guess it was a saying they used back in the day. Well, we're going to do some more of these. I know different of our authors have asked for social media help, Instagram help, how to craft the keynote speech, all these kind of things. Going into 2020, show me your best 2020 celebration. your best applause for the Beyond Publishing growing family. Dan's going to bring it home with some fireworks from Sydney as Sydney's ringing in the new year. Happy New Year. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. And I'm so glad you're joining us on the road and around the world this year in South Africa, in New York, in London, in Toronto. And it's going to be epic, guys. Guadalajara, it's going to be epic.
Michael, hanging out with you is like having fireworks all the time, all the exciting celebrations we have with you. So thank you. And in Sydney, Australia right now, they're celebrating. I believe this is almost just shy of live.
There you go.
Awesome.
Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. I appreciate you all. Have a safe Happy New Year celebration.
Happy New Year!
I'll be sharing
This looks like, wait, is this a Beyond Publishing event that we're watching here?
Actually, it is. I think this is
Yeah, I think Beyonce was probably singing at a Beyond Publishing celebration event.
Great, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, guys. See ya.
Stay winsome, my friends. Stay winsome.
Thanks, Dan. I'll finish this within the hour. And I'll tag you all.
So I'm Dorian Williams, and I wrote a book, and I love it. It's my heart, and it's called Strategic Planning for Black Folk: Unleashing the Secret Weapon to Success.
Yeah!